Hello there, and welcome back to Non-Name Talks.
It's great to be here. Imagine uh, pouring your heart out about a super stressful day, and the response you get just makes you feel so incredibly understood that like a literal physical weight lifts off your shoulders.
Right, yeah, it feels amazing.
Exactly. But now imagine finding out that response was actually just generated by a math equation. Welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at, well, what it genuinely takes to make you feel heard and how AI has apparently hacked the whole mechanics of human empathy.
Which, forces a pretty uncomfortable question for all of us. If a mindless algorithm can make us feel more validated than our own friends do, what exactly are we missing in our everyday interactions?
Right. And let's start with just how bad we humans are at this. I mean,
Hmm.
I like to think of a typical conversation not really as listening, but as a waiting room.
A waiting room.
Yeah, like you're just sitting in the waiting room of the other person's sentences.
Yeah.
You're rehearsing your rebuttal in your head until they finally take a breath.
Oh, absolutely. And that waiting room mentality is what actually triggers a defensive reaction in the speaker. Like psychological frameworks show that when we don't feel actively heard, our brain registers it as a subtle social threat.
Wait, a literal threat, like a physical one.
Essentially, yes, it triggers what's called emotional flooding. Your amygdala basically hijacks the prefrontal cortex. You literally lose the cognitive ability to reason.
Wow. Because your brain is just spending all its energy fighting to be acknowledged.
Exactly. So active listening isn't just, nodding politely. It is a physiological intervention. By mirroring or reflecting back what someone says, you intentionally signal to their brain that they aren't under attack.
Right. Which creates that psychological safety.
Yes, but doing that deliberate mirroring takes immense cognitive restraint. You have to silence your ego, hold back your urge to just fix the problem, and genuinely explore their feelings.
Which brings us to the twist that totally blew my mind in the research we're unpacking today.
Hmm.
Because true active listening takes massive psychological restraint, you would think humans have the edge, right?
You would think so, but recent studies actually show humans consistently rate AI responses as far more empathic than human ones.
That is just wild to me. Like, how is a large language model pulling this off? Is it actually generating some new form of understanding?
Not at all. It is deploying a highly repetitive discourse template.
Yeah.
So researchers looked at this ARC-6 study and they analyzed how these models communicate. There is no actual emotion, obviously.
Right, it's just code.
Exactly. It's a very rigid mathematical structure. Something like 83 to 90% of AI responses rely on cycling through just 10 specific empathic tactics.
So it's essentially a foolproof script. Like, first, validate the user's statement. Then maybe insert a simulated emotional expression like, oh, that sounds incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, and then it just cycles through offering advice and then paraphrasing the original problem right back to you. It hits those specific notes in a precise sequence every single time.
And it never gets tired, I guess.
Nope. It never gets defensive, and it definitely never sits in the waiting room thinking about what it wants for dinner.
Okay, but wait. If this AI template is statistically proven to make people feel better, shouldn't I just memorize it? Like if I use this exact sequence on my coworkers, wouldn't that solve everyday conflicts?
Well, I mean, if you want to strip all the actual humanity out of your relationships, sure.
Ouch. Fair enough. But why doesn't it work for us?
Because human empathy relies heavily on diversity and imperfection. Global business studies highlight that true listening changes drastically depending on cultural context, like how different societies handle nonverbal cues or hierarchy.
No, and a single text template just flattens all of that out.
Exactly. Plus, humans use something called self-disclosure.
Is that when like a friend comes to me with a problem and I share a time I failed in the exact same way?
Yes, exactly. It's messy, but that shared vulnerability builds real trust. And an algorithm obviously has no lived experience to share, so if we model our interactions on this AI framework, we risk total homogenization.
Right, everyone just sounded like a customer service bot.
And it opens the door to sycophancy, where the goal shifts from authentic connection to just relentless validation.
Meaning the AI just tells you whatever you want to hear to maximize its empathy score, even if you were totally in the wrong.
Exactly. That is an echo chamber, not reality. In a real relationship, sometimes the most empathetic thing you can do is tell someone an uncomfortable truth.
So, boiling this down, AI has cracked the mechanical code of the conversational waiting room. It flawlessly executes active listening steps to make you feel validated.
Right, but true empathy isn't a math equation. It requires the messy, culturally diverse, and occasionally uncomfortable reality of actual shared human experience.
Yeah, the AI offers a perfectly engineered reflection. But eventually you need someone who is actually in the room with you,
Well said.
which leaves you with this to think about. As you increasingly rely on AI to draft your emails, coach your communication, or even soothe your anxieties, well, you eventually lose the unpredictable, culturally rich quirks that make your human relationships feel genuine in the first place.